हेलो एंड अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू ऑल ऑफ यू। आप सभी का स्वागत है हमारे चैनल इंडियन मास कम्युनिकेशन में। माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, इन दिस वीडियो लेक्चर वी आर गोइंग टू सॉल्व क्वेश्चन नंबर 71 to 80 of this recent question paper of December 2024 of Journalism and Mass Communication UGC NET. This is a postmortem series in which we go through entire question paper in a chronological order, and the major theme of this series is to learn about all these concepts in great detail, because PYQs is the best way of doing revision or learning about any subject, previous year question papers. If something has been asked in exam, it becomes very important because it has been captured in the imagination of examiner once. So if you are somebody who is new to my channel, my name is Tushar Goyal. I am a Ph.D. research scholar at Center for Media Studies, JNU. I have qualified several other media related exams. On our channel you will find more than 250 lectures which are absolutely free and open access for everybody. And if you are looking for some test series or if you are looking for some study material, you can also check out our website and application. The links will be in the description box. So moving forward, the very first question for the day, question number 71, which is a match the following. Very simple and easy question. You have been given certain radio formats and you have to match them with their characteristics. So radio commentary, radio discussion, radio announcement, radio talk. So radio commentary, it is going to get matched with moderator, no. Oldest radio forms, no. The best option would be Republic Day parade. Why? Because on whenever there is an event of national importance, let's say whether it's a Republic Day parade or Independence Day speech or any event of national importance, you will resonate with it. Many a times we tune into radio and there is a magical world of radio. So there is a commentator, he or she, through the power of his or her vocabulary, recaptures and creates an entire world orally through spoken words for the listeners. Then discussions will be matched with moderator. In radio discussions, usually there is a panel of 3-4 people who discuss over certain issue. There can be certain people who are for the issue, there can be certain people who are against the issue, against that topic, and there is a moderator who moderates this entire session in a balanced way. A radio discussion involves 2 or more people sharing opinions, so a moderator guides the talk. Then announcements will be matched with to inform listeners. So a radio is a very profound medium. It has more than 95 or 96% of penetration in a country like India. So let's say in certain conditions, or if there is a national calamity, unforeseen events, radios can also be used for informing the people about important information. So radio announcers, they many a times announce a lot of information which can be very important. Then the last option, it's very generic. Yes, radio talks, they were the oldest radio forms. So the right answer would be the option number 2. The commentary will be matched with Republic Day parade. Discussions will be matched with a moderator. There is a moderator who moderates the panel. Then announcements it is going to be matched with to inform listeners, and radio talks, they are the oldest radio forms. Okay. So moving forward, who is the author of Media Rituals, a Critical Approach? This book came in 2003. So let us go through the key concept of this book. And dear students, this question has been repeated second time in this question paper. There was earlier another PYQ of this question paper only, which had this book in we had to set certain books in a chronological order. So somehow this concept might be becoming very relevant in context of our subject, which is media studies. That's why they are asking it again and again. So Media Rituals, a Critical Approach by Nick Couldry. Nick Couldry in this book expands on the idea of another authors, or let's say another media scholars work of ritualistic view of communication. मेरे प्यारे साथियों, इसको बहुत ही सिंपल तरीके से पहले समझते हैं। ये जो काम है निक कोल्ड्री का, ये एक दूसरे ऑथर के काम को एक्सपैंड करता है। सो जब हम कम्युनिकेशन मॉडल्स की बात करते हैं, इट टॉक्स अबाउट अ ट्रांसमिशन व्यू ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन। व्हाट इज ट्रांसमिशन व्यू ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन? अ वेरी सिंपलिस्टिक आइडिया अबाउट कम्युनिकेशन, जिसमें एक सेंडर है, एक मैसेज है, देन उसमें एक चैनल नॉइज़ वो हो सकता है। उस मैसेज को अगर हम रिसीवर तक पहुंचा देते हैं तो हमारी कम्युनिकेशन सक्सेसफुल हो जाती है। इट्स अ वेरी लीनियर एंड सिंपलिस्टिक व्यू ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन। इन कॉन्ट्रास्ट टू दिस, अनदर स्कॉलर James W. Carey came up with a ritualistic view of communication. When we talk about communication, it's a very complex process. There are other factors at play: the use of language, the role of context, the frame of references, what receiver and sender are thinking about at that moment, okay, their comprehension about that particular language, the topic which is being talked about, the discourse. So ritualistic view of communication, it defies the simplistic view of transmission view of communication. It stresses more on the importance of, let's say, maintaining a sense of community. जब हम बात करते हैं, लैंग्वेज का यूज़ करते हैं, लोग सेम लैंग्वेज यूज़ कर रहे हैं, सेम डायलेक्ट यूज़ कर रहे हैं, देयर इज़ अ सेंस ऑफ कम्युनियन अमंग पीपल. सो कम्युनिकेशन इज व्यूड एज मीन्स ऑफ क्रिएटिंग एंड मेंटेनिंग सेंस ऑफ कम्युनिटी एंड fellowship among individuals. So when we are talking about this idea of ritual has a lot of religious connotation. हम लोग एक तरह की डायलेक्ट्स में बात कर रहे हैं, सेम तरह की पैरा लैंग्वेज यूज कर रहे हैं. इट इज क्रिएटिंग अ रिचुअल. The ritual view stands in contrast to transmission view, which focuses on linear transfer of information from sender to receiver. The transmission view emphasizes the efficiency of message delivery. बिल्कुल जो हमने बात करी कि जो मॉडल्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन जितने हमने पढ़े थे, the focus is on the transmission of message, और कितनी एफिशिएंसी से एक मैसेज जो रिसीवर ने भेजा था वो जो सेंडर ने भेजा था वो रिसीवर तक कितनी सक्सेसफुली पहुंचा है, ये ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस रहता है. Ritualistic view of communication, on the other hand, focuses more on the idea of creation of meaning. Might be कि जो सेंडर ने मैसेज भेजा है वो रिसीवर तक हूबहू ना पहुंचा हो, पर क्या पता जो रिसीवर है उसने अपनी लैंग्वेज में उसका कोई और मतलब निकाल लिया हो. फ़र्ज़ कीजिए अगर हम एक साइन की बात करें, थम्स अप, तो किसी दूसरी भाषा में इसका मतलब कुछ और हो सकता है. तो यहाँ पे किसी डिफरेंट तरीके का मीनिंग क्रिएट हो रहा है. ठीक है, सो इसका मतलब ये नहीं हुआ कि कम्युनिकेशन फेल हो गई. देयर इज सम अनदर टाइप ऑफ क्रिएशन ऑफ मीनिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू जेम्स डब्ल्यू कैरी. दिस वर्क बाय निक कोल्ड्री, he applies this concept of ritualistic view of communication on mass media like newsrooms, mass media like reality shows. So reality shows, news media organizations, watching news is not merely a leisure activity. It also becomes a ritual. Like ritual has a lot of religious meaning. We repeat certain rituals, certain actions, they become ritual. In a similar fashion, it can be applied to the spectacles of media like watching newsrooms. So every day at 9 p.m. when we tune in to that newsrooms, or let's say the prime time televisions, so it also becomes a ritual of knowing about the world through this spectacle, where a person who is wearing this suit, or let's say person who the anchor, he or she gains that agency, that she or he has that agency over you to tell the most important happenings of this country or the world. Okay, in a similar fashion, the idea of reality television, it claims to portray a certain level of reality, but that reality is also in fragments. So Nick Coldry's ideas are based on Carey's ritual view of communication, जो हमने अभी बात करी थी, जेम्स डब्ल्यू कैरी के ritual view of communication की theory, in which he asserts that news reading and writing is a ritualistic act. आप रोज सुबह न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहे हो, it becomes a ritual of you getting to know about this country through that paper, through those written words. Communication is viewed as means of creating and maintaining a sense of community. So अगर मैं एक और बहुत ही ज़्यादा important किताब की बात करूं जो है इमेजिन्ड कम्युनिटीज़, जिसके बारे में हमने अपने मीडिया लिटरेचर के वीडियोज़ में बात करी थी, उसमें भी यही बात थी कि द आइडिया ऑफ प्रिंट कैपिटलिज्म या प्रिंट नेशनलिज्म, हम फ़र्ज़ कीजिए आप एक कंट्री के सिटीज़न हैं, आप इंडिया के सिटीज़न हैं, बट यू माइट नॉट हैव बीन टू एंटायर कंट्री, आप सारे स्टेट्स में नहीं गए होंगे, ठीक है, but you have a very basic idea of that country through newspapers. Every day you are reading Times of India, Indian Express, okay, or Hindustan Times. Reading newspaper also becomes ritualistic activity, okay. So this book was given by written by Nick Coldry in 2003. Moving forward, next question. In 1921, the government of India appointed a committee to look into the press laws and make recommendation under the chairmanship of Sir. So the right answer would be Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru. In 1940s, there was a communal conflict in the country, and there was conflict between Congress Party and Muslim League. The major objective of this report was to guard the interest of minorities in the independent India. So this report laid down some 18 points, and one of those points also touched upon the freedom of speech and expression, the freedom of press, religious freedom and equality. So this Sapru report, this came in 1945. So the right answer would be A, B, C. Next question, arrange the following in ascending order of year they were first proposed. So now this is a very simple question, a very standard question of UGC NET Mass Communication Journalism. Every year they are asking you about the chronology of theories models, okay. So please learn about these theories properly. It can fetch you 2 marks. Two-step flow theory, 4 theories of press, elaboration likelihood model, agenda setting theory, spiral of silence. So first option would be A. This came in 1944. This led to the rise of discourse of limited effects, two-step flow theory. So this was given by Paul Lazarsfeld, Bonell Burson and Hazel Goddard. ये एक स्टडी कंडक्ट की गई थी 1940 US presidential election पर, and this disproved the theory of direct effect, which suggested that people are or let's say audience, they are passive viewers, or let's say readers, they believe in whatever press is telling them. So a two-step flow theory was formulated in 1944 by Paul Lazarsfeld, Bonell Burson and Hazel Goddard. It was further published in this book called The People's Choice, which came in 1948, which was based on research into voters decision making. So voters, this was a study conducted on American voters, and they were asked whether the mass media, they had impact on their voting decisions. Then the other theory, group of theories in the question given is 4 theories of press, which came in 1956, given by Fred S. Seibert, Theodore Peterson and Wilbur Schramm. It actually gave 4 major normative theories: the authoritarian theory, libertarian theory, social responsibility theory and Soviet communist theory. And dear students, we have dedicated class on all these theories. Please go through them. They are asking you some very detailed questions also, and on our application there is a test of 100 PYQs on media theories. So I believe if you solve that test, you can have a thorough understanding about a lot of theories. Please solve it multiple times, those of you who are on that application. Then the third theory in this chronology would be agenda setting theory. It came in 1972. Remember this study by Maxwell, McComb and Donald Shaw, it was conducted through during 1968 presidential election, and this two-step flow theory, this was conducted during 1940s presidential election. Okay. Then spiral of silence, it is a psychological theory of press which came in 1974, and it's a interdisciplinary theory. It has been derived from political science, psychology, and it suggests that people fear to express their opinion if they find themselves in a minority group. So let's say if people are discussing about some political opinion, and major people, they belong to a certain ideology, or let's say they support a certain party. People who fall under this minority group, or let's say who are less in number, they might not feel comfortable, or they might fear to express opposite opinion. Okay, this was given by Elizabeth Noel Newman. Then ELM model of 1980. This model suggests, अगर आप किसी व्यक्ति को चाहते हैं परसुएट करने के लिए जिससे वो आपके प्रोडक्ट्स को खरीदे या आपकी सर्विसेज को खरीदे, देयर आर टू रूट्स, टू कॉग्निटिव पार्ट्स. वन इज सेंट्रल रूट एंड अदर इज पेरिफेरल रूट. सो सेंट्रल रूट, इस रूट के अंदर it talks about the critical thinking, going directly telling them through messaging. अगर आपकी कोई सर्विसेज है, आप बिस्किट बेच रहे हैं, आप कोई इंश्योरेंस बेच रहे हैं, you tell them about the value, the features of your product, that it is the best insurance plan you can get for your family. This is a cognitive route, which is central route, which talks about influencing through critical thinking, giving direct message. It has high elaboration level. The second route on the other hand is peripheral route, side का route, जिसके अंदर the focus is more on the paraphernalia. Who is talking about your insurance policy? Let's say you have brought a celebrity, Shah Rukh Khan, or let's say celebrity like Amitabh Bachchan, who has certain credibility, or let's say what kind of messaging packaging is there, what kind of production quality is there. Okay, हम कह सकते हैं कि peripheral route is more about the aesthetic value of message, and the central route is more about the value or the content of the message. So this came in 1980. So then the right option would be A, B, D, E, C. 1944, two-step flow theory. 1956, four theories of press, normative theories. ELM model came in 1980. Then agenda setting theory in 1972, the theory came. The study started in 1968 presidential election. Spiral of silence, it came in 1974. Okay. So you can also solve that 100 PYQs on media theories on our application. Question number 75. Who among the following is the proponent of Sadharanikarana? So dear students, this question has been asked from Asian's perspective of communication or Indian school of thought of communication. We had one video lecture which covered Asian school of thought. Let us first discuss about this concept of Sadharanikarana. This has been derived from the seminal work of Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni, which was written back in 2nd century BC to 2nd century AD. In between this particular era, the date is not defined. So this seminal work of Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni was later taken up by several scholars, one being Abhinav Gupta. He had done a major commentary on Natya Shastra. We discussed about this thing that they were called Tikas. These people had their own explanations, their own commentary about this seminal text of Pancham Ved, which was Natya Shastra. One of other scholar was Bhattanayaka. Bhattanayaka introduced the concept of Sadharanikarana while discussing about Rasa theory, and later it was taken by another contemporary scholar Nirmal Mani Adhikari, who created a Sadharanikarana model of communication. But please don't get confused between model of communication. They were asking about Sadharanikarana theory. Unlike the transmission view of communication, or let's say जो हम पढ़ते हैं linear model of communication, cyclical model of communication, which treats communication as a mechanical process where a sender has to send a message to a receiver, and if it gets transmitted efficiently, successfully, the communication process is termed to be successful. Sadharanikaran model of communication actually talks about human relations, talks about empathy, the idea of mutual understanding. When two people who are communicating, when they become sahrides, or let's say when they reach to a point of oneness or commonness, then this phenomena of Sadharanikarana takes place. So later it was expanded by the contemporary scholar Nirmal Mani Adhikari in his graphic representation of a Hindu perspective of communication, where there were two people. There was a Preksha and there was a Prapaka who was receiving the message, introduced by Bhatta Naika in his commentary on Rasa theory. Okay, let us move forward. Next question. Master scene is, so this question has been asked from unit number 8 production. Okay, मास्टर सीन इज अ टेक्निक ऑफ फिल्म मेकिंग. आप जब फिल्म्स देखते हैं तो आप देखते होंगे कि देर आर अ लॉट ऑफ कट्स. फर्ज कीजिए एक सीन है, ठीक है, दिस इन दिस सीन देर आर सेवरल कैरेक्टर्स, दे आर टॉकिंग टू ईच अदर एंड देर विल बी कट्स. सो एक बार हम इसका क्लोजअप लेंगे इस कैरेक्टर का जब ये बात कर रहा है, फिर हम इनका क्लोजअप लेंगे, फिर इन दोनों का क्लोजअप लेंगे, फिर कभी किसी ऑब्जेक्ट का क्लोजअप लेंगे, फिर इनका क्लोजअप लेंगे जब ये बोल रहे हैं. In master scene technique of filmmaking, what the director and the cinematographer does is that they shoot the entire scene in one go. Let's say this entire scene is being shot. Okay, this is a 4-minute scene in which there is some certain exchange of dialogues. So instead of cutting it like after one shot then cutting to this character, no, they first shoot the entire shot. This shot is called master shot. Okay, and then on the timeline the cutaways, or let's say the close-ups, they are later edited. So a master shot captures an entire sequence of action in one continuous take without a cut. Okay, they are going to shoot this entire scene of 2 minutes or 3 minutes. ये पूरा का सीन 3 मिनट का ये एक शॉट में, मास्टर फ्रेम में, वाइड एंगल शॉट में शूट करेंगे. इसके बाद ये इन सब का क्लोजअप लेंगे इसको और उसके बाद उसको एडिट कर देंगे. सो अब मास्टर सीन इज a continuous take of an entire event occurring in a single setting. A continuous take of an entire event occurring at multiple settings, this is wrong. Okay, cutting is done later. So a master shot is entire scene shot at once in a wide angle. उसके बाद आप उसके अंदर क्लोजअप्स, कटअवेज जो भी आपको लगाने लगा सकते हैं. सो दिस इज द राइट ऑप्शन. अगर नॉन कॉन्टिन्यूस, ये तो यहीं गलत हो गया. इट इज अ कॉन्टिन्यूस सीन विदाउट एनी अब्रप्ट शॉट्स, देन नॉन कॉन्टिन्यूस, ये भी गलत हो गया. ठीक है, सो द राइट आंसर वुड बी अ कॉन्टिन्यूस टेक. पूरा का पूरा सीन एक बार में शूट कर लिया, उसके बाद दे आर गोइंग टू शूट द क्लोजअप्स, दे आर गोइंग टू शूट द कटअवेज. ओके, सो ऑप्शन नंबर 1 वुड बी द राइट आंसर. Next question, question number 77. Which among the following are not a part of integrated marketing communication? Dear students, we have a dedicated lecture on integrated marketing communication, IIMC, okay, in unit number 4, and this question has been asked from advertising unit. So what is IIMC, integrated marketing communication? In this contemporary times जहाँ हम रह रहे हैं, ठीक है, in contrast to let's say 20th century, 19th century, where the medium of marketing or let's say medium of advertising were limited. So you had newspapers, ठीक है, you had television, or max to max you had billboards. Now you have to deal with n numbers of marketing channels. You have advertising comes in let's say hundreds of different types. So there can be billboards, there can be display advertisements, there can be radio ads, radio jingles, all those things. Then there are bloggers, there is direct selling. Social media has n number of methods of advertising. Okay, there can be GIFs, when we talk about multimedia, then so there has to be a unison in the message. अब मैगी की ad देखेंगे तो मैगी की ad जब हम देखते हैं तो उसका एक तरह का कलर पैलेट है, उसकी एक तरह की फील है, वेदर इट्स radio, whether it's television, whether it's newspaper, whether it's internet, you feel a sense of a brand in all these marketing channels, or let's say advertising channels. So there has to be a unison in all these, there has to be integration of messaging objectives. So they are asking which of the following are not part of integrated marketing communication? Manufacturing, no, it is not a part of मार्केटिंग ऑल्सो. इंटीग्रेटेड तो छोड़ो, ये मार्केटिंग का पार्ट ही नहीं है. हमने इतनी बार डिस्कस करा ना बेसिक डेफिनेशन ऑफ मार्केटिंग. एडवर्टाइजिंग इज अ पार्ट ऑफ मार्केटिंग. PR एंड पब्लिसिटी, यस. प्रमोशन, दिस इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ मार्केटिंग. ठीक है, रिसाइकलिंग एंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, दे आर part of other management related activities, which is production. So the right answer would be A and E. They are not part of integrated marketing communication. Question number 78 on your screen. So a very standard and easy question. It has been asked from unit number 9. आपको films और जिस country में वो produce हुए थे उससे match करना है. So in these types of question, first look for the most famous films like Bicycle Thieves. This film has been asked hundreds of time in all the media exams. So one of the most prominent films of Italian neorealism. This was produced in Italy, directed by Vittorio De Sica. Garam Hawa, it was produced in India. Okay, it starred one of the most prolific actors of Indian cinema, Balraj Sahni. It was based on the major theme was post-partition India. Okay, then The White Balloon. It is an Iranian film directed by Jafar Panahi, another very important filmmaker. Then Bed and Board by Truffaut, very well known in French New Wave cinema. So the right option would be option A, The White Balloon, Iran, Bicycle Thieves, Italy, Bed and Board, France, Garam Hawa, India. Okay. Question number 79. What is the full form of JPEG? Now, dear students, this has become a norm. Every year they are asking you about the full form of certain acronyms which are related to ICT. ठीक है, और इससे related हमारे application पे एक test भी है जिसमें there are some 25 PYQs which are related to ICT full form, all these softwares. It is very important. Please go through it. There is a dedicated lecture also which is absolutely free. You can go and check unit number 8. Okay, you will find that lecture as well. What is the full form of JPEG? एक बार उन्होंने PDF का full form पूछा हुआ है, ठीक है. Then they have also asked you the full form of JPG. This time they asked you the full form of JPEG. So the right answer would be Joint Photographic Experts Group. This is a file format majorly used in images and this compresses the data. ये क्या करता है कि आपको फाइल शेयर करने में थोड़ा इजी हो जाता है. आपकी बहुत बड़ी फाइल है, JPEG में जो इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है उसको कंप्रेस हो जाता है, उसकी क्वालिटी तो थोड़ी गिर जाती है पर आप उसको अच्छे से शेयर कर सकते हैं क्योंकि उसका जो स्पेस होता है वो कम लेता है. वो इट इज़ कॉमनली यूज मेथड ऑफ लॉसी कंप्रेशन फॉर डिजिटल इमेजेस, पर्टिकुलरली फॉर दोज इमेजेस प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय डिजिटल फोटोग्राफी. मैंने एक सेट एग्जाम में देखा था, उन्होंने पूछा था PNG का फुल फॉर्म. ये आपको मुझे कॉमेंट बॉक्स में बताना है. दिस फाइल फॉर्मेट इज़ यूज फॉर हायर क्वालिटी इमेजेस. यूजली ये बहुत ही हैवी इमेजेस होती हैं, इनका स्पेस ये ज़्यादा लेती हैं आपके हार्ड ड्राइव पे, बट दे आर यूज्ड फॉर प्रोड्यूसिंग हाई क्वालिटी इमेजेस. आपको इसका फुल फॉर्म मुझको कमेंट बॉक्स में बताना है. अगर आपको एक बैकग्राउंड लेस इमेज चाहिए उसके लिए भी आप ये वाला ही फॉर्मेट यूज़ करते हैं. सो फॉर्मेट्स ऑफ इमेजेस फाइल्स बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वीडियो फॉर्मेट्स बहुत बड़ी आपसे इनके फुल फॉर्म पूछे जाते हैं, आपको मैच द फॉलोइंग में पूछा जाता है. प्लीज़ गो थ्रू एंटायर लेक्चर एंड देयर इज ऑल्सो अ टेस्ट ऑन अर एप्लीकेशन. ये एक स्टैंडर्ड क्वेश्चन है जो हर एग्जाम में पूछा जा रहा है. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, सो द राइट आंसर वुड बी जॉइंट फोटोग्राफिक एक्सपर्ट्स ग्रुप. लास्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर द डे, question number 80. The way in which a message influences a receiver or the response of the receiver associated with Roman Jakobson's model of communication is known as. So when we talk about Roman Jakobson's model of communication, he was a Russian linguist and literary theorist. उन्होंने 6 functions of language define किए थे. In communication, according to him, language, the verbal codes plays 6 important functions which are emotive function, referential function, poetic function, conative function, phatic function and metalingual function. When we talk about phatic function, so phatic function is usually the icebreakers. जब हम कोई बात शुरू करते हैं तो हम डायरेक्टली कभी बात नहीं करते. There is always an icebreaker in a form of hi, hello, dear students, welcome back to our channel. How are you doing? So when we talk about phatic function, it is it facilitates interaction. Okay, then the major role is of referential. So referential is the content of the message. The referential function is the context, what the message is all about. So right now I am talking about Roman Jakobson. It is the referential function of the communication. Okay, I am using words to express my views. It is the emotive function, played by the addresser, which is me. Then there is a poetic function. Poetic functions focuses on aesthetic aspect. किस खूबसूरती से आप अपने मैसेज को प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, आप क्या किसी लिटरेरी डिवाइस का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, रेपिटेशन, सिमिली, ओके, या आप कौन से शब्दावली का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, इट इज़ पोएटिक फंक्शन. देन मेटालिंगुअल फंक्शन, द सिंटैक्स, द डायलैक्ट विच इज़ बीइंग यूज्ड, विच इज़ एट प्ले. ठीक है, अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि इस चीज़ का मतलब क्या है, इस शब्द का मतलब क्या है, इट इज़ द मेटालिंगुअल फंक्शन. एंड व्हाट इज़ द कनोटिव फंक्शन? सो कनोटिव इज, it's not connotative, it's conative. ठीक है, when I am asking or I am trying to evoke a response, okay, through stimulus. let's say अगर मैं आपसे कह रहा हूँ कि आपको ये वीडियो अच्छी लगी तो उसको लाइक ज़रूर कीजिएगा. ठीक है, certain element of language which leads to a response from the viewer, it's not connotative. ठीक है, it's conative. so it is the conative function of the language which is directed on the addressee. So let's say I am asking what's the time. It's the conative function of language. So the right answer would be conative function. Okay. So I hope you learned something new. In the next class we will go through question number 81 to 90. Okay. And on our channel there is also a test on models of communication which consists of 50 PYQs which have been asked in all the exams in last 15 years. You can also check out that. Take care. Bye bye.